Wait a minute. That's not what it's like to work here. That recruiting video's just a hunk of shit.
Good morning, guys. What's going on? Biohazard back, and guess what? It is time to continue on with our Fleet Week stuff. So, today, I don't know what we're going to have in store. Chad and I, yesterday afternoon and during a couple of different times, we have tried to figure out exactly what is going on with trade. Unfortunately, all we can come up with is that the mid-tier products have been nerfed, and I think that's going to cause a lot of problems in the verse because that means people with things like caterpillars and other stuff like that are really going to struggle to make really good amounts of money compared to those who are mining. And maybe that's what they want, or maybe this is just a fleet week thing. So we're going to figure it out, but so stay tuned. We'll know probably a little bit more at the end of Fleet Week to see whether it was just a reaction to Fleet Week or whether it was um, just a straight up legitimate, you know, change to the way that they're trying to work the economy. So it is an alpha, so we're just going to figure out and work through it. Now, this morning, speaking of Fleet Week, and I know you see it here on my screen right now, I have the schedule pulled up. So today, out in Area 18 at the Convention Center, we should be able to take a look at a Stalker, the Renegade, and the Warlock. So the multiple variants of the Avenger. Now, I already have the standard Avenger Titan, right? Not the Renegade, but the Avenger Titan. And it's a great ship. It's a great starter ship. Gives you a lot of functionality, a lot of things that you can do. I am not too you know overly overzealous about this. This isn't a ship we're going to fly. The Eclipse is beautiful. We are probably going to go take a look at it. Obviously, I already own the Gladius. I don't own the Valiant. So we're going to turn around and probably just take a look at some of these. What I have been wanting to fly, though, for a very long time, and we will check them out, is going to be the Hammerhead. So it is a crewed ship. We're probably just going to give a big giant tour of the thing and then go out and fly it. There's not going to be much we're going to be able to do with it. But then we have the Retaliator bomber. We may check that one out as well. Um, then we're down into the Sabres. The Sabres are, to me, the equivalent like my Gladius. It is a very highly maneuverable combat fighter. It's probably just going to be something we look at. And then you got the Vanguards, right? There's a lot of people that really like the Vanguards. I'm not too overly sold on them. Again, not something I personally am probably going to look to fly or rent. But let's get there. Let's go take a look at the Hammerhead first thing. Let's walk through some of these ships and see what we've got going on from there. And here we are, right back in character creation again. So we're just going to accept the first thing that we've got, right? Um, I'm not too worried about all that. It seems to be an ongoing issue that it's not holding your character. I'm not going to freak out about it. So I have no idea where we logged out yesterday. I really don't. So bear with me. We may have a little bit of a flight ahead of us in order to be able to get back and go take a look at the ships. But during Fleet Week, my focus is not necessarily on making a ton of money. I'll do after hours playing and after hours flight in order to be able to earn a little bit of cash. I'm close to the 4 million mark again. Um, and as of right now, the ship that I am most impressed with to this point is the Valkyrie. That's the one that's kind of got me on edge. So I'm close to being able to buy one if I really wanted to buy one. But I don't know. We'll see how it works. I think that would make a great small crewed ship for a smaller organization. Um, Lots of firepower as a gunship, the ability to go in, probably do some claim jumpers really, really fast with a few people. Um, Excuse me 1 second, guys. Did not want to cough, so live on uh, with the microphone on. So bear with me. I apologize. But yeah, so that's where we're kind of at this morning. Is oh, I was going to say half a body. That's where we're at. All right. At least this morning it looks like it gave me my stuff. That's a step in the right direction. I'm going to have to fix the walking speed here. That way I'm not just sprinting everywhere. There we go. Alright, so let's head on over to Area 18, and we're going to go back and take a look at some of the new ships that were released for today. As a matter of fact, wait a minute. They don't release until later on this afternoon. We could go back over to Area 18 and do absolutely nothing. I'll tell you what. Why don't we try our little trick that we were going after last time and see if we can steal an F8 this morning. It'd be worth me getting the crime stat. I think I could deal with that. We're going to have to, where are we at? We are at Lorville, so we're not too far apart, or too far away. Just take a look at that landscape there. That is beautiful. Look how well they did this. Every time I step out here, man, it's just, I am so enthralled with what they're able to do and what they've got programmed to this point. All bugs and glitches aside, it is a beautiful setup. Why am I still sprinting? Alright. Everything's kind of fogging up my face. So we want to hit the spaceport up this morning. Now, once we've determined a little bit of stability this morning, we may run over and see what we can do about picking up a really super crazy expensive load of cargo. I don't know if that's really going to be the goal of today. I think, again, I'd really like to see us steal one of the F8 fighters this morning. I want to see if we can be one of those few channels that are able to pull it off. So we need to find out where Fleet Week is, or where the fleet is currently, first and foremost. Supposedly they're in orbit above us. That would be fantastic. Oh, I'm just trying to rehydrate. Last night was a night of drinking. Alright. So I think our best bet is to use the Gladius in order to be able to do what we're going to do today. Pardon me again, guys. I apologize again. I got a cough, but I'm not going to do it in the microphone. There we go. I'm back again. Apologize. Hopefully I can get whatever that tickle is out of the back of my throat before the stream goes too long today. I don't want to have to keep pausing everything. Alright, so now we're going to book it over to the terminals because we've determined that the fleet should be here. Alright, let's see. Gladius will be our tool of choice. And let's go see if we can mess with the fleet and steal one of the F8s. If not, we're going to end up in prison. Ooh, I still have the Valkyrie for 4 hours. Okay, but that's not going to happen. Oh, I got everything destroyed, right? File a claim. Pay the expedited fee. Let's go ahead and grab our other, just in case we have to do it twice. I don't want to wait on it. Alright, so we got a minute for those. I could pull out the Freelancer and go after them with the Freelancer, but again, I want something that is not going to sit there and just take a beating for a while. We got 1 minute. We're going to wait on the Gladius. Alright, so in the meantime, I'm going to tab over here, and again, for those that are joining, this today is going to be, because of the 26th, 27th, it's Aegis Day, okay? So we've got the different variants of the Avenger, we've got the Eclipse, the Gladius, which I already own. This is the ship, the Hammerhead is the one that I've been wanting to fly. So we're going to figure out really quickly whether or not we're going to be running this particular ship or not. Or whether that's going to be my next target to purchase, because it is either this or it's going to end up being the Valkyrie here that I rented, because this would be a great small or crewed ship. Alright, come on. 2 seconds, and there we go. Alright, now the reason why I'm choosing the Gladius is because I have an ejection seat on this thing. So once I engage those fighters and I get a crime stat and I get them to start following me, what I can do is take this ship just outside the armistice zone and eject. And in theory, what should happen is once they blow up my ship, the F8s should become stationary. You know what? I didn't pay attention to what pad that was on. Let's run back. Alright, so Hangar 9. Now, I mean, we can tour a Hammerhead anytime because they have them here at Lorville. But, again, I'd like to be able to do that a little bit later on. I mean, this evening is where we should see those ships come live. I mean, we could always head over there, but I want to see if we can make today's goal to actually just get in here and be one of those few streams that's been able to steal a F8. Let's get permission to get out of here. And then once that's done, let's go to our power settings. Excuse me. And let's drag our power settings up more towards shields, because that's, I think, what we're going to need. Oh, it is so nice that they fixed the winds here. That just made life so much better. Alright, so we'll do some third-person view here in just a few seconds. Like I said, I'm gonna try and set us up and get us over to where the fleet is hanging out right now. Because that is what I'm more worried about, is getting over to them. Once they dock, it makes it really damn near impossible to get a hold of them. They're not docked, that's for sure. Okay, so they're coming in quick, so we need to get over here, get our fighters, see if we can do something. They may already be in the armistice zone too close, and there may be something that we can't do anything about. Yeah, I think we're too far. Because the moment we come in here and we get to a... Dang it. Oh, get out. They were too close. Because our weapons will not impact at this range. Well, that's just terrible. Because I don't think I can't even get a missile lock at this point. Okay. Do we have to find some poor unfortunate soul to go after in order to be able to make this happen this morning? That sucks. Oh, see, there's the fireworks. They're docking. We are kind of stuck. I don't want to arbitrarily get a crime stat just to do this. I wonder if we could potentially ram one of them and maybe pull them out that way. Let's try that. It's not my preferred method here, by any means. Let's find us a good F8 that we can mess around with. Because they seem to be really, really short on fighter support right now. So, I'm not seeing any others hanging out here in the back. Oh, the oxygen bottle, Josh. Okay. So basically the oxygen bottle just represents how much O2 your character has. Whenever you start doing things like running around, or if you're out for extended periods of time on an EVA, the number starts dropping. So eventually you can get your oxygen level so low that it will, you'll basically suffocate to death. You start getting asphyxiation issues. Okay, so where is he going? Let's see. Nope, nope, he's running off. Okay, that's not cool. He's not going to make this easy. see if warning restricted, 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 and it's going to try and fling me somewhere else. It's going to blow me up. Yes, it did. Okay. Ah. Boy, they need to let you closer to those things. Alright, good news is since we know we can't steal it right now with where they're at, we're going to go ahead and grab one of the big cargo ships, and we're going to fly off and see if we can do a real fast cargo run. Give the fleet a chance to move on. So I'm just going to kind of run through here a little bit instead of taking the lazy stroll. Oh, you're welcome. And Josh, by the way, there's a couple of other things that are going to pop up down here at the bottom left as we go on. A couple of things are like your hydration meter and your food. If you don't maintain certain levels of nutrition and hydration, you'll start to get diminishing returns and abilities on your character. They haven't fully implemented everything, but I have run it down to 0 before and have died. So it was a test that was not a whole lot of fun, because I happened to hit 0 with a full load of cargo. So I also take it that by the question, you have not had an opportunity to play this game before, have you? Alright. So some of the stuff that Chad and I had found out as we were playing and trying to figure out what was broken with the trades is that commodities are very, very limited right now, especially the upper tier stuff. So we're going to run over and we're going to see what we can do about a quick run, trying to see if we can get some laranite. If it's not available, then we'll probably just load up what we can, pick up some astatine in the same system, and then go do what we got to do. But normal trades, normal things that we've been running, our titanium prices are so out of whack right now that it doesn't allow us to make good money on that middle tier stuff. Alright, we're going to book it and see what we can do about making it there. Give him a break for a second. So one thing that you're not seeing in those meters right now, because when you're in the third person view, you can get health warnings because you've been running too far and too hard. Your heart rate gets too high. Alright, so again, we have the Valkyrie, but we're going to go ahead and see. We have our Caterpillar there. We're going to go ahead and retrieve this one. Hangar 5. So normally we're over in the Crusader area and the Port Olisar side, and what I like to do is, and I say we because usually Chad's on with me, but what I like to do is I like to check the titanium prices right off the bat, because as a commodity, it's one of the best that you can possibly run in the game. Doesn't put you at a crazy risk monetarily. Now, some people will say that it is, or that it does, but once you farmed up a little bit of cash, being at a 400,000 risk is not huge when you're talking about the quantities that we're shipping. And like I said, it's that mid-tier. So diamond and titanium and astatine to me are really that mid-tier commodity. Um, and those are the ones that we are struggling with right now. And if you wanted to go up to the upper tier stuff like laranite and ag supplies, you can't find a really good place that's going to take a bunch of ag supplies, and you can't find a really good place that's going to give you a huge supply of laranite. You got to sit there and you got to wait and you got to wait and you got to wait, and that's just, for a lot of people, that's not an exciting gameplay. Alright, so let's get this big old girl rolling, and then we will come back and circle back to what's going on with Fleet Week. Alright, there we go. Alright. Let's get her skyward. Alright. There we are. Okay. So yeah, it's just going to be, again, some of these bigger ships, they're a little bit slower. It's going to take us a minute here in order to be able to get into orbit so that we can plan our routes. But I don't know if you guys can see it, but those subtle clouds that are just sitting there off to the left-hand side, that you see that we keep breaking through. And then here in a minute, you're going to see the rest of the screen go darker and darker and darker as we make the transition into space. And those are those little bitty details that they put in that I really like. See, like if you notice the upper left-hand side of the screen right now, it's starting to get a little bit darker. It's going from kind of like this grayish black to a little bit more of a darker space-style black. And that's letting me know that we've partially transitioned here into like a suborbit. So at this point, I'm going to take a look and see, because yeah, Fleet Week's going to be there, right? We are going to run over to Aerial really quickly and see if it'll let us set this route, which it will not. Doesn't seem to want to let us set a route anywhere. Okay. So what that tells me is we are in a position that we are going to have to do basically a micro jump. Got to get somewhere else in order to be able to use this. Okay, what do we got here? That's Everest Harbor. We're going to go ahead and make a slight jump towards the end of the system. Oh, come on, that shouldn't have happened. And then we're going to drop out of this quantum really quickly. Alright, so we made it about 20,000 away. Now we should be able to plot. And then this will get us where we need to be. So, since 3.9 dropped, it seems like the it seems like the course plotting and your Moby-Glass plots, they're a little bit more touchy than they were before. Alright, let's give you a good view of what we got here. As we bust into quantum, whip past a planet. And this is just a short, relatively short jump. Okay, so we have two locations that we can go to. One is Latham and one is Besdick, and we're going to hit up Latham first. There's no rhyme or reason as to why I would choose one over the other. It's just, this is the first one to line up. Now, once we're here and we get our initial load, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it 5 minutes, and that 5 minutes I'm going to tab out, and we're going to flip over to like the Fleet Week information and stuff like that, and maybe take a look at what they've got in the development queue so that we can get another respawn of material. So I know it is very difficult to see on screen, but right now we are about 15 kilometers out. And usually what I'll do is I'll fly this this thing in pretty hot and fast until we get to about 8 to 9K, and then I'll start slowing her down and go to a third-person view, which you haven't heard me do it yet, but I do have my my voice attack set up. So that is where we are about to go right now. Enter third-person view. And my voice attack, just basically, it's an application that lets me set hotkeys to audio controls. Alright, so you see that little flashing light that's just up there above my nose? That's what we're aiming for right now. You see that shadow off in the background? See, again, they did a really, really good job with some of this stuff. I'm going to go ahead and set down on this pad right here. And the funny thing is you don't have to set down on the pads in this game. Alright, let me extend that camera, because if not, it gets a little crazy inside the tighter and confined ships. But at least here you can see a little bit of the detail inside of what they were able to do. And a lot of ships are like this. You know, they've all got their own uniqueness, but a lot of ships are like this, where they have a bunch of areas and stuff that you can explore. I mean, I don't know how many times I got lost on this ship when I first got it. Alright. Now, Josh, if you're still with us, you can take a look. That little temperature meter down there on the bottom left is another one of those meters that basically it's just telling me that I am on a planet that is way hotter than it should be. So I'm sitting in a situation where it's giving me a survival meter of 1 hour and 45 minutes. So if I were to sit out here for more than 1 hour or 45 minutes, it would end up killing me. I would end up cooking myself. Okay. So, one of the things that appears that they did fix for the most part was the trade terminals. Because what was happening in 390 is you would run into an issue where um, you couldn't see the commodities unless you exited the chat line and then came back in. So it was a pain, right? But titanium, and I can tell you right now, normally it's about 7.1 AUEC, and they've still got this escalated at 7.86. So you're not going to make anything really off of running titanium. I mean, you'll make some, but it's not going to be a whole lot. Alright, so take a look. I have 560 SCU that I'm capable of filling here, and the max available stock that it'll let me put in is 16. So this is what we were talking about. This right here is the reason and is the problem, get back in there, that traders are facing right now in game. The better materials either have such a low margin that it's not worth running them compared to the risk, or that the items that you can get more off of, you can't get any quantity of. That to me is what is indicative right now of 3.9.1, and it hurts. It is really killing the trade business. So like if I wanted to look at tungsten right now, right? 355 to purchase. So I'm going to come over here, and this is a little app that I've got. Everybody has access to it. It's called Gallic. They've been halfway decent about what they've got information-wise, but it's updated by players. So I need to put in my criteria here of what I have. And if I were to say I was on Ariel, and I'm at Lathan, and then I want to go back to Lorville, right? And I want to go to the Central Business District. I can run through this calculation, and it'll tell me what the best thing is to run. But right now it's saying that if I buy titanium at 773, which it's not, and then try and sell it at 8.9, which again, that's only going to be a 13% margin, and I'm only going to make 66K. So it's really just you're not going to make hardly anything. And then if I wanted to take on a very low risk, but I'm still only going to make 13%, it's here. It's 28. And that's against that tungsten. The only way that I make money is here against this laranite, and the problem is, it ain't refreshing. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. So I'm going to go ahead and make the purchase of the laranite. Okay? Now, what this does is this is going to set a timer for me. Okay? So 5 minutes from now, so I've got 9:45 on my clock, right? So 5 minutes from now, and we're going to explore some of the alternate content and things that are available to us. I will click back here, and what we're going to end up seeing is how much actually came back. So I'm going to give you a quick tutorial here. Once you go through and you select your ship and you select your locations and do anything that you want to, you can come in and you can click on the commodity. Okay? So like I'm going to click on the laranite because that's what I'm targeting right now. And what this does is it tells me, okay, who's my suppliers? Who's the people that are going to purchase from me? And in what kind of quantities can I expect, right? So here's the thing, the refresh rate. The higher the refresh rate, the better and quicker that 5 minutes quantity comes back. So like right here where I'm at, which is Latham, right? It's saying that basically this translates to about 139 SCU every minute. That's really what it's telling me, okay? And if that's the case, I should be able to get this cat filled up pretty quick. That's not what's happening. So that's what we've been trying to put to the test to see whether or not Galleg's got it right. And as of right now, they're really struggling with that. So Next thing I'm going to do is jump over here and say that's enough with the trade terminal stuff. While we're waiting on that to refresh, I'm going to go ahead and click over into the Invictus Week and kind of finish up where we were at before. So today, when they launch the updates for Invictus Week, ultimately what's going to happen is all of the Avengers are going to be available to be able to see and to be able to rent for $0 and fly. The Eclipse and the Gladius, which I already have a Gladius. The Eclipse just is a heavier bomber. The Hammerhead is really the one that I want to get into and I really want to fly. I can go do a tour of it in Loreville, but my problem is that you can't fly it unless you buy it. And at 12 million AUEC in-game, that is a lot of farming and that's a lot of currency that you have to build up to get it. So I want to see whether this is the better crewed ship or whether the Valkyrie is, because I can afford a Valkyrie here within the next couple of days. The Retaliator Bomber. Again, a lot of these are just smaller fighter styles that are going to be really, really neat and fun to fly. But how many fighters do you need? You're going to come up with 1 or 2 fighters that you get, and you kind of master those fighters, and they're wonderful. Then we get into the Vanguards. Again, it's another type of fighter and bomber combination. It's a great little ship. But today's goal is to really get a hold of that Hammerhead. Okay. On top of that, we're going to try and steal an F8 from the UEE fleet. And then tomorrow, there's not a whole lot that sits there that really impresses me. Okay. But I think tomorrow, what we may do, and I've liked it for a long time, it's this Starfarer. I may jump up and see if I can get a Starfarer and mess around with it. It's supposed to fly absolutely horribly, but, you know, I just want to check it out. And then, to wrap everything up, obviously, I already own a Caterpillar. I'm not too worried about it. But we have the different type of cutlasses here. And I think that's kind of where we're gonna go is, you know, maybe take a look at a cutlass. But since we're gonna be at the end of the week here, what I'm doing in channel, if you already have an account in this game, on Friday, the plan is that I will buy somebody in game a Cutlass Black. So what we'll do is whoever is on stream and puts in for the raffle at the time, whoever wins that raffle, I'm going to have them log in live on stream, and we're going to go to Levski, meet up together. I'm going to give them the cash and let them go ahead and purchase their own Cutlass Black, and then we kind of go on their maiden flight with them. So stick around for Friday, especially because I'm really looking forward to being able to do that giveaway. I think that would be a whole lot of fun. Alright, so I have about a 5-minute window that has already transpired, so hopefully it has refreshed. We're going to walk up to this terminal. I should see a lot more than 16 SCU sitting here when I go to purchase. Yeah. Now, it may still not have technically refreshed. It may still be within a certain window. Let's just see, because it'll error if it still hasn't fully refreshed yet. Okay. So we're going to step back off the terminal, take 1 more minute and chill, and give it another couple seconds. Another one that's kind of really interested me, this Dragonfly Black. It's just like a little Star Wars speeder bike. And that's one that I want to check out because I could probably load 1 or 2 of those just sitting up on my my Caterpillar, fly out into space and just take them out and just start having some fun with them. I think that would be kind of an interesting little ordeal. Set up a couple of ships with some people and start running some competitions to kind of treat them like races, our own personal races, and see what's happening. The Herald. The Herald is an information ship, and I have not done anything with any of like the information gathering missions, so I think that's another one that I think would be really cool to kind of exploit in the game, but I don't think they've done enough to really vet it out fully. Okay? So we should now, we gave it that extra minute or so, so let's take a look and see what they've got. Again, still popping with 16 SCU. And it's telling me it's insufficient stock. So here we are, approximately 5 minutes later, and we're still in a position where we are struggling. Alright, Just James, I appreciate the follow this morning. Thank you very, very much. Everything like that is what helps us as a small channel grow, and hopefully you stick around on Friday and you get a chance to try and win the Cuddy Black. Alright, so you see here, and I don't know if you can tell with the graphics where they're at, it just changed from 2782 to 2792 in purchase price. Oh, no, that's 82 still. Let's change our angles. Okay, so I'll explain some of the trade routes here in a moment. I'm trying to get this damn restocking tool, or restock, to come. And it looks like it may give me another 16 SCU. Alright, so we waited 5 minutes on a place that should have had 160 SCU every minute pop up. Okay? Now, it looks to me like something happened and they've got a glitch where this is going to sound so like old school Superman. They got a glitch going on where see, server errored out again. Where somebody forgot to put the decimal in the right place, right? And for the younger folks, that would also be like an Office Space reference. Alright, so yeah, all it gave us was another 16. Okay, so we're going to book out of here. Let's make sure it gave it to us. I'm not seeing it. There we go. No? Alright. So we're going to book out of here, and we're going to head over on planet to the other location because it does the same thing. So, James, can you tell me what kind of ships that you own? And that'll help me kind of narrow down what some of your better trade route options are. Excuse me. Let's see. Okay. Nothing as far as transport goes. Was thinking about picking up. Sorry, here, hold on. Picking up one. Okay. Are you looking to buy it with in-game currency, or are you looking to actually make a purchase out of game so that you own the ship outright? I know there's a time delay in the typing, so just bear with me, guys, because I want to make sure I get James the right information. Okay, possibly out of game. That would give means to make decent money each wipe. Okay, 2 philosophies to follow. How do you feel about basically grinding out cash? Okay, and this is there's a very important reason why I'm asking that question before I go into trade route ships. Do you mind gameplay that you have to grind and farm on? Or are you looking for kind of the biggest bang for the buck? Okay, so I'll give you 2 routes and you can make your own choice of which way you would like to do this. Alright, out of game, one of your best ones, or sorry, if out of game purchase, if you want, no matter what happens during a wipe, it's called the Prospector, and it's the ore mining ship. Okay, with zero risk of anything other than loss of time, you're looking at a scenario where you can farm between 30 and 100 plus K every trip that you go out with that ship. Okay, and that could take up to an hour's worth of flight time. Okay, sometimes you get lucky, you drop into the right place, you get a really good rock right off the bat, and you make a bunch of money very, very quickly. Okay, and you're able to do a quick turn very fast. That is what my account ship is. That's the one that no matter what happens, I always have the ability to quickly start farming and making cash off. And it's called the MISC Prospector. All right. In US dollars, it's about $155 to get that ship. Absolutely, absolutely worth it. Um, in my honest opinion. All right. Let's see. So we were there. Let's go over to Besdik and see what we can get at Besdik. All right. Now, if you want to talk about a purchase for a trade ship, the biggest one that you can buy right now, as far as an account is concerned, you have to do the it would be the Freelancer Max. Okay, Freelancer Max has about 120 SCU of cargo space, which is very, very good for the size and the class and the fuel efficiency that it has. And it's about $150 or 150 US dollars to purchase the ship. This Caterpillar that I'm flying, which is a very, very large cargo ship, you can buy it, but it has to meet. You have to be during certain conditions. Okay, one of those would be that you get it during one of their annual sales in November. Okay. Oftentimes the Caterpillar will be available at that time. However, there is another method to do it. By playing Arena Commander and getting through the Pirate Swarm, once you beat the Pirate Swarm mission, online you can go into your account and you can purchase the Pirate Edition of this ship. I don't know what it costs because I have never done it. I just know that that is the route that you can do it. So it's like unlocking the ability to buy this ship. Okay? So that's really the differences in where you go. Now, if you're running a Freelancer Max, one of your most profitable things is doing what I'm doing right now, which is these smaller Laranite runs. Okay? You're going to go, you're going to pick up a bunch of Laranite, and you're going to fly it into Lorville, and you're going to sell it there. You'll make decent money doing that. That's about the best way to make money on one of the smaller, what I consider smaller trade ships. Last time I checked, if I recall correctly, it was around 28K that I was making just using the standard Freelancer. Okay. Haven't done the Arena Commander route ever, only started the past Saturday. Okay, fair enough. And again, I don't deal with it much either. I used it to try and learn how to fly before really stepping into the game, and that was about it. I myself haven't beaten the Pirate Swarm. I haven't gone in trying to beat it. Which are you using the free flight week this week, or did you purchase an account? Okay, you back the game. All right. And that's a good way to go. What ships do you currently have? I know everybody should have the free Freelancer, the basic one. But outside of that, do you have anything else in your hangar? Arrow. Okay. All right. So you've got the little arrow fighter and you got the Freelancer. All right. Okay. Absolutely nothing wrong with doing that, man. Again, I started out with the Avenger, the Titan, and I've upgraded a couple times since then in order to be able to get where I felt like I would be stable in my account as I played. All right, X Benzakura, welcome to the stream. Um, the Titan is a very good ship. Again, it's not the greatest fighter, but that little cargo bay area gives you some options to work with. Um, but again, since everybody right now has a Freelancer, it's better to go ahead and get the fighter combination. Eventually, when they fix that, the little glitch and the reason why we have the Freelancers, that'll be a little different. Now, here's the other thing. James, everybody wants to try and do it, and it always ends up backfiring on everyone. Do not go trading drugs in this game, okay? It's just not worth it. The profit margins look like they're fantastic, but because you can only sell less than an SCU each time you do it, you stand there forever trying to sell stuff, so it's not worth it. You intend to stick legal. Yeah, we all start that way. And then it's just, every once in a while, you're just like, yeah, I gotta try it. Okay, what's your question there, Extra Benzakura? Let's see how much we can get here. So like here, we're getting 48 SCU. So this is actually a decent load up to start off with. If I was in a standard Freelancer or a Freelancer Max, this would be great, okay? So I'm going to step back from the terminal here just for a minute, and I'm going to go ahead and answer the questions that we got, and then we're going to give this the 5 minutes. So I've got about 10:05. We're going to wait for that. All right. So X, let's see. I've got a question about trading with the current. Okay. So what current rentable ship are you talking about? All right. With the Carrack, okay, you made $1 million with the Carrack. Plan to do the same with the Caterpillar that I rent. Struggled to find a ton of good trade routes with huge ship and huge amount of money. All right. It's exactly the problem we got going on. So, if you don't mind me asking you, what were you trading when you were using the Carrack the other day? Titanium. All right. Where were you buying your titanium? Ariel. All right. So, I'm assuming that you were selling it at Lorville. So you were probably doing a bunch of the really quick runs back and forth. Yeah. So you're basically in the same structure that I'm at right now, and that's fine. You can do that. I'll let you in on a little secret here, and this is why a lot of people who have been in the game for a while and doing trades are a little irritated right now. If you look at this titanium price of 874, or sorry, 784 right here, ultimately this titanium price should be around 7.1, which means it's lost 70 cents for every AUEC, right? And that has been a huge struggle for people trying to make a ton of money, because titanium is that middle tier product that people were making their life on. Okay? Now, if you were able to make $1 million out of the Carrack from the event, do the same thing with the Caterpillar. You're just going to have a little bit more commodity that you're able to carry. So it's going to do the exact same thing for you to continue to run that. Now, your risk, obviously, is 30Ks. 30Ks right now are every trader's worst nightmare. Because if you have, 4, 5, 600,000 in what you've loaded up on this ship, you put that at risk every time you have any cargo just sitting there. Like right now, the 90 SCU that I have sitting on this ship is completely at risk. Just absolutely completely at risk. Because if I 30K'd right now, I'm out all that cash. I started this morning with 3.8, 3.9 million. And as you can see right now, just in what little I've got loaded up with this higher price commodity, I've already got, 300, almost 400K invested in this one run. And I'm just standing here right now. So feel free. My recommendation, X, would be to use the Caterpillar and do exactly what you did if your purpose is to just make money. Okay? Also understand that every Tom, Dick, and Harry that's in the game right now that gets an opportunity to get a Caterpillar for a day is going to be looking to do the exact same things. Okay? Now, one of my bread and butter runs. You're already scared when you want to trade, right? One of my bread and butter runs is, and let me see if I can pull it up here. Okay, let's not do that. Let's go back in game. Is this right here. Long-term wise, I actually spend most of my time over here in Crusader. Okay? Sealand has a place called Tram and Myers. Now, since the prison system was instituted, a lot of people have stayed away from pirating. So Tram and Myers has become a little bit more stable, and it's a little bit better. Okay? So what I'll usually do is I'll grab diamond from here, and then I run that diamond up to Delamar and sell it at Levski. Now, it's only about 68K profit in the Caterpillar. Okay? But this total run round trip takes about 15 minutes. And if you're able to get full loads of diamond and run there and come back again, then ultimately what you're looking at is, if you time it out well, then you can make about 240K an hour running just diamond. And you're never risking more than 300K at a time. Okay? So that right there, and it's a very boring run. Don't get me wrong, but it's a very steady earner. Okay? That's if you have the money to do it. If you don't have the money to do it, and let's say you just recently got a Caterpillar, but you have maybe 60, 70K left over in your bank account, then what you do is you would then instead go to Daymar, okay? And at Bountiful Harvest, you're going to pick up processed food. Again, not a glorious trade route, but you're asking me about how to make money, right? So you would pick up processed food. And with that processed food, you would fly that out here to Hurl L4, and you would sell it at the Hurl L4 station. You can do it at Hurl L5 if you like, but Hurl L4, Hurl L3 is an issue because of the way the sun and the asteroids are there for Caterpillar, but Hurl L4 is a very safe approach. Okay? So you would go to Hurl L4 and you would sell the processed food there in total. They buy it full bulk, so full Caterpillar load. You'll make about 22 to 23K on that run. At Hurl L4, you pick up scrap. And then you run the scrap back here to Port Olisar. And you'll make about 28 to 29K on the scrap. So by the time you're done, you've got a 50K round trip. Again, takes about 15 to 20 minutes to do it. So you can make 150K plus an hour doing that run. And here's the kicker of it. At any point in time in that run, you're only dealing with having a ship that maybe has 80,000 worth of cargo loaded on it. So if you 30K or you have an issue, it's not going to kill you. It's not going to break your bank so badly that you can't recover from it. Okay? So that's kind of where, from a trade perspective, that's a very high margin trade that you can do that's very low risk. It's just repetitive and it's grinding. Once you get through it, you've got it. Okay? So those are some of those just absolute, just like, here you go, here's a bread and butter kind of trade. That's how you make it through being a trader within the system. You don't have to try and get every type of commodity, but you do have to come up with a couple that you really enjoy running. Now, we will do one more after this is said and done, and it's kind of like my own little secret run, and I love it to death, and I don't mind sharing it. Yeah, I kind of do, but it's a longer run, but usually the margin is so worth it, it's pathetic. I haven't done much to check it out with what's happened in 391. So let's come out of our Moby glass. Alright, let's check and see if the terminal's updated here. No, looks like it hasn't updated yet. Yep, just did, 32. You know, X, what I find is in the longer trade routes where you're getting able to sit there and you can hear the music just playing, and it's kind of, you know, the ship's in quantum. You know, that's one of those where it's like, okay, things are really chill. It's a lot, to me, that's where I find a lot of enjoyment in the game. All right. So because I'm not going to sit here and mess around with trying to wait to fill this caterpillar up, because obviously you see I've got 127, which is about the same size as a Freelancer Max. 120 would be the Freelancer Max. I'm going to go ahead and take the rest, and I'm going to see what I can do about just filling up with titanium, just so I can have a full run. Because obviously, standing here just talking about it, it's kind of boring. We want to get rolling. In 391, I also found out, make sure that you double check. Once you load a commodity, come back into your trade terminal. Because like right here, it's still not showing me that it loaded, but it took the funds out of my account. There it goes. Finally it updated. If you run off too quick, you may run into a problem. Okay? So we're going to head back to Loreville, and we're going to dump this load really quickly. And for all you immature people out there, yes, that's exactly what I said. Just for whatever reason, I can hear my kid in my head right now just laughing and giggling. Alright. So we're going to go ahead and run this and drop this off, and then I'm going to check on the progress for the UEE fleet and see where they're at. If they're still just hanging out up there in New Babbage area. Oh, I'll show you. I'll show you. I have no problems. I call it a secret, but to me it's one of the safer trade routes because people weren't sitting on it. And again, you know, my experience starts in 3.8, and that's the reason why, you know, it was people were just sitting there camping, tramming Myers, and doing some of the other stuff, and it was making it really difficult to try and get some of those better commodities. Okay. Local has been disbanded. So, you see that little local has been disbanded? That just means I went through a 30K with my ship right now, which means all of the cargo, so almost 1 million credits, was just lost live on screen. Fun and games as a trader in the verse. So no joke. Almost 1 million credits just gone right there. Yep. It's an alpha. All I can do is sit there and say, you know what? Stuff happens. That is the whole thing. Okay. Looks like my buddy Chad is online, so we may be trying to join him. But look at what it did. It just gave me a choice of where I'm going to launch. right? So I'm going to go ahead and select Lorville. Let's see if we can join our friends here. Cancel. Chad, his server is full. So we can try and join in his, but I'm going to go ahead and jump into Lorville. Lovely, lovely, lovely. That's all I can say. So X, that's just kind of the way it works with everybody, okay? We run into those issues all the time. So now it looks like my Valkyrie is out of reach unless I get on and grind and farm like it's nobody's business for off camera for a while. It was worth it. Hey, that's the way the stream goes, right? So just James, if you're still sitting around and you're kind of listening, this is the reason why I was saying that the least risk actually comes from prospecting right now. And my buddy and I, Chad, had this conversation last night about why is it that you have no risk in a prospector, but you have all the risk as a trader. Okay? It almost makes it seem like they're pushing one over the other. Now, what I will do is confirm very quickly, because it's just a train ride. But we're going to go to the Central Business District. Almost zipped right on past it. We're going to go to the Central Business District, and we're going to check and make sure and see if we actually do have any cargo that's on board this ship. I have seen it. Stranger errors have happened lately, so I just want to double check. And, you know, time-wise, it'll only take us a few minutes in order to be able to get through it and check it out anyway. But there have been times where I've launched off, and it's kicked me out of my ship, and then I've turned around and had the cargo and the ship still show up in the trade terminals. So right now, that's exactly what we're going to do, is we're going to run over to Central Business District and check and see if maybe it wasn't all for naught, but if it was, then that's all we can do. Alright, so we got a couple other players we're bolting past right here. Obviously, there's a bunch of people that just came in off of that 30K. It happens. And we missed our train. That sucks. Okay. There we go. He just wants to look like everybody else just standing there. Can deal with it. Alright. Alright, so X, once we get done with this, I'm going to take you over on my favorite trade route, and we'll see what happens. Now, I will say this, since 391 dropped, and I know we just experienced a 30K, I've only experienced a few 30Ks since the beginning of Fleet Week, and I put in a lot of hours, okay? So, in general, a lot of the bug fixes and things that they did put in for quality of life purposes with this patch, I think they did a fantastic job with. They did correct a lot of things. I do still think that because they're running on the Amazon servers and because their code is not fully optimized yet as it's a alpha, that is leading to a lot of memory crashes and issues on the servers, which is why we're experiencing some of these problems. Which 230Ks in 15 hours of gameplay is significantly better than where it was sitting just even a few weeks ago. 3.9 was just a 30k fest. Oh, it was horrible. It reminds me of like when 3.8 just first dropped. Let's see. Did I take the wrong turn in Albuquerque? Yes, I surely did. Because I want to go check the Central Business District first. Alright, so we're going to head to the Metro Center. Like I said, I'm not hoping for anything. Well, I am hoping, but I'm not really counting on anything to be here. With that flying character bug, yep. The one that it was just dropping you out of your ship. That one was rough. Now, there's one other thing that I will tell you, and that little diamond run that I told you about, going in and out of Tram and Myers and then heading to Levski. The OM1, if you go to plot your course on Moby, if you hit the OM1, that is the planet side OM1, okay? There's a system OM1, and then there's a planet OM1. So those little bitty micro jumps that you sometimes have to take, if you have to fly through coming off of Sealand, the planetary OM1, do not take that route. Plot a completely different course, fly somewhere else, and then go to Levski from there. The reason why I say that is there is an invisible wall, which is a programming feature, that you will fly your ship into and you'll blow it up. I've been able to track it back down to just that route. And for whatever reason, if you have cargo and you take that route and you fly through OM1 on the planet side, you blow up. I've done it on stream a couple of times and even told people, yep, this is probably going to blow me up. I came right back to where I didn't want to be. I wanted Central Business District. Okay. I'm paying more attention to conversation there. Okay. So, X, just really quickly, if you are aware when you're plotting your courses, you know how sometimes you get the planetary OM routes? That it's like you have to do that short bounce in order to be able to get to where you want to go in system? Coming off of Sealand, if you have cargo in your ship and it wants to send you to OM1, and it's one of the ones that's right there on the planet, okay? That's the one that you don't want to take. Now, if it's trying to send you in Crusader, if it's trying to send you to the large OM route, OM1, that is right next to Crusader itself, that one's safe. I know it's confusing, but there is a huge difference between the OMs that are right there on the planets at Sealand and the OMs that are part of the system. Now, because you play the game obviously a lot, right? If you're on Sealand and you need to set a course, go to OM6, okay? OM6 will take you just high enough directly off the planet that you can then subsequently set anything that you want to set route-wise. Okay? There we go, Central Business District. And you should be good and safe to make a jump from OM6 anywhere you need to go. It's the only route that I have found in the game that has caused me problems, that is a continuous problem, that for whatever reason we couldn't figure out why it was giving us issues where our ships were blowing up. And then the moment that I started avoiding that OM, that problem went away. I went back to the OM and the ship started blowing up again. So there's like some programming wall or black hole or something that's there that is an issue, um, that will cause you to lose cargo all the time. Yeah, the Carrack is a great ship. From what I've been told, though, it's a little bit heavy on gas. So if you're not making really good trades, it'll cost you an arm and a leg in your profit anyway. But I think it's a great crewed ship. We had a friend of the channel. His name is Zig, and first time I ever got a chance to check out a Carrack was his. And I am thoroughly impressed with the ship. I think it's a beautiful craft. I think there's so much that it's going to open up gameplay-wise. Um, but yeah, it's if you're just needing it from a cargo running perspective, that'll be a fantastic ship in order to be able to work with too. Um, Another good one, obviously, um, as we're looking through it here, right? Um, you've got the Caterpillar on the final day, but here tomorrow, you also have the Starfarer. The Starfarer does have a cargo bay that is, it's a little more than half the size of the Caterpillar, but it's larger than the Freelancer Max. So that's another good ship that you could possibly use to try and do some trade routes with. I have been told that it flies like a brick, so don't expect anything fantastic from the flight model. But again, if you're just looking at it from you've got access to these ships and you want to be able to make some money and do some trades while you've got them, that's another great ship to be able to run. I want to say it's sitting in like the 360-ish area of SCU. Alright, moment of truth. Let's see if the game actually took everything from me on that one. Yep, sure did. Everything is gone. Okay. So we did. We lost, officially, I'm going to label it as 750K in that 30K error. Huge, huge loss. Yep. So that's just, I mean, again, that's part of it. I'm alright with it. It's an alpha. I accepted that fact when I first did the game. Now, if I was sitting here in a position where I was like completely flat broke, alright, well, I might be a little agitated. Now, if I like, if every time I throw cargo into a ship, I get a 30K on a day, then I will, by the end of the day, be a little bit more agitated. But if things start going that direction, then what I'll usually end up doing is going back to that little scrap run and diamond run and stuff like that, to where I'm not making huge profit margins, but I am making steady profit margins, and they're shorter runs. So it's kind of knowing, it's kind of like gambling. It's knowing when to just say, okay, I'm not going to chase it any further and get further in the hole. I'm just going to start refilling that hole back up. So X, I don't know if you were around when I said it before, but Fridays on this stream, what I do is there will be, and this is for everybody that's on stream, if you are an in-game player and you currently have an account, Fridays on my channel, I run an in-game currency giveaway, to where what we'll do is we'll take you over and meet up at Levski, whoever is the winner of that raffle, and I will give you the money to purchase a Cutlass Black in-game so that you have a Cutlass Black. So um, stick around. Make sure you guys are here on Friday when we do have that stream up and running, and you'll be entered for you'll be able to enter a ticket raffle in order to be able to get there. Doesn't cost you anything. You just got to be on stream to do it. All right. So is there a ship that you want that's less than a Cutlass Black? Because basically what I'm doing is I'm handing you the money for you to be able to get the ship that you want so that we can see it purchased and flown on stream. Like a Gladius or something else like that, one of the fighters. Alright, so Drake Caterpillar is stored. Unknown on Besdick, so we're going to go ahead and file the claim here. Pay that expedited fee. Like I said, is there a fighter or something that you've got your eye on? Well, thank you for the follow there, X. I do appreciate it. Again, like I said, it's something that we like to do. We're a smaller channel, and right now we don't have the backers behind us yet in order to be able to give away true full accounts. But because myself and Chad are on a regular basis, and we're usually doing this kind of farming, we've found that we can usually get the money pretty quickly together and be able to start outfitting people and get them in game with something a little bit better than just the basic starter ships. So those are kind of those fun things that we like to do. Alright, tell you what, we have our Titan, we have our Gladius. Let's go ahead and file for our Gladius as well. And I'm hoping that we're going to check on the fleet real quick, because while we're waiting on our Caterpillar, I'm trying to steal an F8. So let's see, where is the fleet at the moment? They're still up here at Microtech. Okay, so they'll be up there for a while, because what we're going to do is we're going to try and intercept them when they come in here to Hurston. Okay. Yeah. So I think we're kind of in a position where we're stuck waiting on ships at the moment. I mean, I could pull out the Valkyrie just for flight's sake, but it's really not going to do us any good. Where is my... Alright. So I'll tell you what, for argument's sake, just so that we can keep flying, I'm not going to worry about the major trade, but what I am going to do is take you over and show you the trade X that I really like. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and use my Freelancer to do it. And even in a Freelancer, which everybody should have, you'll be able to see the benefit of this particular trade. And since one, you like longer trade routes, and you like profitability, this is a very good way to go. Now, the refresh rate, you can only, with a large ship like a Caterpillar, you can only do this run once every hour and a half. Okay? So it's kind of one that I like to sprinkle in the middle of my day of trading. Again, I'm not looking to make a ton of money right here. I'm just basically looking to show you what this particular route is. But for those that maybe don't have the ship, this is great. uh, it is very risky. Now, I'm not talking about you wait there for an hour. I'm talking about you go do other stuff in game and then you come back and you pick material up. I'm not a huge advocate of sitting there forever waiting on stuff to happen. So, for example, if you wanted to sit there and run your titanium over and over and over and over again, go run it, right? But once an hour, you're going to run over to this other location here in Hurston, and you're going to pick up from there. And then you're going to make your trip to Port Olisar. Alright, so let's see. So the places that I like to go, it's here in Hurston. It's called Ida. Ida has two locations, Ryder and Woodruff. They both sell the same commodities. Okay? So it doesn't matter which one you go to. Oh, goodness, goodness, goodness. Wait a minute. You get used to flying the Caterpillar, and then you go into a much more nimble ship, and then it wants to freak out on you, right? So we're going to try and get ourselves a bunch more altitude and get over there. This is really one of those major downsides. Woodruff does have a slightly better refresh rate. Speaking of Chad, good morning, Chad. How you doing? I saw that you were in, but your server was full earlier. I don't know if you were hanging around when we had our world-famous 30K. Alright, so we're going to have to make a micro jump in order to be able to get to where we want to get to. So we're going to clear that route. Find something that we could focus on and get to. Yeah, that'll work. That's the side of the planet we want to get to. Let's just get past Hurston. Whoa, that is some severe-ass lag. Yeah, Chad, so, yeah, that's the one that happened 10 to 15 minutes ago, and I had 700K worth of cargo on board. Actually, 750. So, it kind of sucks. But it is what it is. I'm still over 3 million. I can't complain. There's a lot of people that can't even get to the 3 million mark. Alright, so X, basically where we're at is, again, I'm running over here to Ida. And this, again, is one of my favorite trades that is pretty stable. Now, if I was going to sit here and try and go from a refresh rate, then yes, I would go over to Woodruff. But for right now, Ryder is just fine when it comes to the fact that I'm just showing this trade-off. Alright, so why this is on approach. Chad, do you happen to be on Discord right now? find out, won't we? Because I know we've got a time delay there. Okay. Eventually, when it would like to let me in here. There it goes. Alright. So let's head on down to our recording channel. There it is. Okay, and I am coming in way too hot. Hold on. We may be doing a flyby. Alright, no, we're not going to do a flyby. Alright. So, Chad, you were on during the 30K. You were hauling our diamonds? Alright, James, just if you would, do me a favor, drop back out of the recording channel. Normally, whenever I have people or I do the invite to it, it doesn't bother me, but it's one of those where they're usually flying with me in-game. So I appreciate you giving me that heads up. I'm going to have to check and see why it went straight to that channel. Now, the only grievance that I have coming in here is the winds. Like right now, you see how strong those winds are? When I go to get out of the ship, it's going to take me forever and a day to run back in here. But James, just so that you are aware, we pretty much do allow anybody, as long as they're just being respectful of other folks, the general channels and the general chat and other stuff like that, people are more than welcome to use our Discord and hang out and chat and chill, especially if we're ever in game. So don't feel like you can't get in there at any point in time. See, like right now, I'm at full sprint trying to run in here against the wind. That is the only crappy part about EDA itself. But at least it's not like Lorville's winds during 3.9. Okay, 1 second, because chatting or talking or anything else like that, but I am not hearing you. Unless you're just kind of kicking back and being quiet. Alright. We're going to go through, and what we buy here as a commodity is this astatine. Okay? And if you look, it says $7.76 per purchase, right? Once every hour, hour and a half, this terminal will completely fill up on enough material to support a caterpillar. Okay? And if you look, it's a mid-tier, it's about the same price as what you would be spending on titanium. But flying this back to Port Olisar sells at about 9 UEC per share. So, $1.25 per share. And on larger cargo runs, that is a huge amount of money that you can make running this astatine. So X, that is why this is one of my favorite trades in the game to do. It's not something that a lot of people key in on and queue on, but it is a very solid route that will give you a good amount of money. Now, in order not to waste the leg coming back if you were trying to run this route, again, what I would suggest is hitting up something like a Tram and Myers. Okay, come on. Seriously, this is slow. The wind is killing me. You can hit up a Tram and Myers and pick up what little titanium they have or diamond that they have, and you can run that into Lorville from the Crusader area and then fly back over and pick up another load. right? So you can find ways to maximize the amount of stuff that you're running cargo-wise within your ships. But even here, and the good news is that everybody has a freelancer, right? So even here, there's Chad. But even here, what I'm going to show you is that you can make some decent money even with just the basic freelancer itself. Okay, where are we going? It almost felt like we lost control there again, like we are going to go through another 30K.
Is that working?
Now it's working. Now I can hear you.
And my mic would not. It wouldn't. It was on my end somewhere. It wouldn't key up. Wouldn't do anything.
All right.
Yeah, because I kept trying to answer you. Yes, I lost the diamond. um, and I logged out. I saw people freaking out. I was in space. I logged out in the rack on the ship, and didn't make a difference. It brought me back when I logged back into the character customization screen and took freaking area 18.
All right. Well, that sucks, man. It's the same thing. Like I said, I lost 750K in the trade because I was showing the titanium stuff, or not titanium, but the laranite stuff. So X, basically, if you look even on the freelancer, this is very minimal use of fuel one direction. Okay, so this isn't something that is going to be an absolute killer for players. So you can expect to make somewhere around, I want to say, 25 to 26K profit doing this with just a. It's probably closer to 20K profit with just a standard freelancer. And your only risk is how much time do you want to spend sitting here between your jumps, right? So like right here, this is really where I'm at risk. Oh, wow. There's something up with the modeling on the freelancer right now.
Yeah, they fixed the bug with the entrance ladder, or supposed to, because it was an alignment issue.
Yeah.
But they did the same thing with the cuddy. It's having a major issue. Like when you step in the back, you see all the way through to the cockpit. It's got a couple of issues going on with it.
Yeah. Now they also did though in the cuddy, if I'm not mistaken, didn't they fix the screen fogging that was going on, where it's a little bit more clear?
If there was screen fogging, I didn't really notice. But remember, I came from a freelancer, which is always covered in ice.
Yep.
So the cuddy screen was actually fantastic.
Well, I'm looking out the freelancer right now, and the freelancer doesn't seem to be fogging up.
Yeah, so like when you get into the cockpit area of the cuddy, everything looks good, but when you're from the cargo bay, it's like that middle wall's missing.
Yep. So let me answer X here real quick. So yes, you can upgrade those engines to like the X01, and it does cut down the time. It is a fantastic option, and it's great. Please don't get me wrong. But personally, and Chad and I were talking about this, to me, it's not worth making those upgrades in the ships right now until they get the persistence correct. I think both he and I have probably thrown between $1 million or $1.5 million UEC combined in upgrading ships, only to lose those items with some of the glitches that are going on, like having to go back and reset characters, customizations, all those other types of things. So flying the standard ships right now really kind of is the best bet, because unless you have the extra funds, you're going to run into those problems on a regular basis. Yeah, you can lose components. We've been losing them left and right.
I bought a complete set of energy weapons, a complete set of ballistic weapons, upgraded my shields, my coolers, a couple different power packs, a couple different shield packs because I was experimenting for the stream and stuff, and had all that stuff. So my cuddy was dressed out. The new missile racks, so I could change sizes and go to just a bunch of missiles as opposed to. I mean, it was ridiculous. And as soon as I got everything set up, the only thing I have left now is my shield generator.
Okay.
And it's weird that that's the only thing. But I'll take it because that wasn't cheap.
All right. So let me jump over to James's question. James asked, he could upgrade his arrow to the Cutlass Black. Would you say it's decent for trade routes? Okay. The Cutlass Black is an all-around, all-purpose machine. So if you're looking to go to the Cutlass Black, it can do everything, but it's only going to have like 46 SCU, which is less than the Freelancer you already have in your hangar. Okay? The Cutlass Black just gives you better options for being able to do various missions like your claim jumpers or your bounty hunting and stuff like that. Okay? The Cutlass Black is a great all-around ship, but it is not going to be anything from a premier cream of the crop kind of trader at all. Okay? If you're talking pure trade, stick with the Freelancer that you currently have. Now, if you just want to be able to experience something different in the game and you want an upgrade to your arrow, by all means, feel free to go ahead and do it. Chad has a Cutlass, and he can kind of give you some of the pros and cons behind it here in a second. I do think that it's a very good ship, and it's a very solid ship. It's just not a trading ship. If you want to use it as a stepping stone that maybe in a few weeks when it's like a payday comes up or something like that, that you only want to add a few more bucks to it and then go up to a Freelancer Max from it, then that's your Freelancer Max is going to be where your trading is going to start to feel like it opens up. So Chad, you wanna run just James through what it's like to have the Cuddy?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and like he was saying, it's not a premier cargo ship. It holds a decent amount. If you want to run deliveries, you make good money on deliveries, especially if you hit the Covalex deliveries, which are about 6K a box. Claim jumper missions, I have fun in claim jumper missions with it. The only things you really need to do to be pretty good at claim jumpers is I would upgrade the shield generator and probably upgrade the cannons. Go to all energy weapons. You don't want to you don't want to have to keep reloading in between. It eats up your funds. Um, Now you have to keep moving because it's not the strongest thing out there, and when you're running those claim jumper missions, those sentinels, if you sit there, they will eat you. But if you just keep strafing around them in a circle and stuff, usually not too bad. Every once in a while they're bugged and they just beat you down. So if I'm running claim jumpers in a cuddy, I try to pick where there's multiple ones in the same system. They're usually around a station like a Hurl or a CRU. I go land at that Hurl. That way, if I manage to crash into a meteor or something, or screw up and get killed, or anything like that, I spawn right there. I grab my ship. I jump right back out on the mission, as opposed to flying all the way across the system again. But I like the Cuddy. There are tougher ships out there, and there are better ones. But it is a good all around. It's fun to play with. It's a reasonable price range one. It's got a lot of good customizations to it.
Which aren't super expensive.
Which aren't. The shield generators aren't really cheap, but they're not cheap on anyone. I put military grade stuff on just about everything, so it does get a little more expensive. But everyone's going to tell you put the Rampart shield generator. It's got a higher health pool, but it's way slower on the regeneration. So once it gets knocked down, and if it's a short fight and you need the extra health, great. Claim jumper missions, you're getting pounded on constantly, so I like the regeneration of the FR-76. But, I mean, it's just fun to fly, man.
Right?
It's responsive, it's pretty cool, it moves. Um, and it's kind of, like you said, it's not the best for cargo, but it'll do a good job. You're supposed to be able to do claim jumper missions in a freelancer because the shields are supposed to be pretty stout. I haven't, but one of the problems is when I do free claim jumper missions, you also grab your call to arms, and then you ignore all the prospectors. Well, they're shooting at you the entire time, and so you got to be able to handle that. And definitely can with an upgraded shield, and you overclock it, Cuddy.
Yep.
And then you kill all the sentinels, and then those guys become, they're no longer part of the quest or the mission. The mission's over, and now they're just crime stat guys you get to kill for extra funds, and you can make anywhere from 3,500 to 7,500 or so extra on a 10k mission, killing those guys if you kill all the sentinels.
Yep. So even X is kind of kicking back in here. He says the original shields on the Cutlass Black is really bad. He agrees with um, that's the first thing that you should change. But again, from an overall what the ship was intended to be, it's an overall serviceable ship for regardless of anything that you want to do in game. It's not going to be like cream of the crop at any one thing. It's kind of that jack of all trades, and it does everything decently. So it's a great ship to be in to start with. So we made it over here to the terminal. Guys, keep in mind, this is a freelancer only, and what we're about to look at. Okay? So if I were to go in here, and I'm going to show you, let's see, where's my freelancer? So prices are down by 0.2 cents, all right? But even at that, I bought this cargo for about 37-ish, something like that, and I'm selling it for 59. So even in a standard freelancer with Astatine.
Oh, that messed me up for a minute. I was thinking per unit. I was like, what are you buying? Because there is nothing with a freaking $22 margin on it
So
that I know.
So it's a good little commodity to run, and that's what I like. That is like my little favorite honey hole of a commodity in trade, right? Again, you can only, if with the bigger ships, you can only run this about every hour or so, because that's about how long it takes for those terminals to refresh what they need to refresh. Again, now that I share that with people, all of a sudden it's going to be one where it's like, now I can never find my commodity to do anymore, right? Prospecting. Have you ever been out prospecting, James? I know you said you're new to the game, but have you ever been out prospecting? You know what? I want to check and see where the fleet's at right now. Give me a second. Alright, so the fleet is back here. Yeah, they've already made it. Alright. You have. Okay, that's good. So, like I said, it's a bit grindy, but it definitely does work in order to be able to make funds. So, what does everybody think about making a quick trip over to Area 18 and taking a look at what's sitting on the showroom floor right now? I think that's probably going to be one of our better situations to run through. Alright. So we'll do that, and we'll see if Fleet Week wants to run, and the UEE fleet is going to be making its trip over that direction. Actually, I'm half tempted. So what I've seen, X, and I'll tell you right now, it's usually been about 5 o'clock my time, and I'm in Central Time, when I see that the fleets change out. So if I'm not mistaken, what's still sitting on that showroom floor... Man, I'm so used to my Caterpillar. What's sitting on that showroom floor right now should still be all of yesterday's equipment.
Yeah, I can't remember whether it's 9 or 10 p.m. UTC, which would make it 4 or 5 here for us.
Right. So X, here's the deal. I cannot tell you because usually I am out and about and doing other things and off the game at 5 o'clock. So that's kind of generally speaking, I have not been kicked off the server when they did the trades, when they traded out the ship. Alright, so let's see. We got another couple things in here. Again, the free look glitch just keeps hitting me constantly. Alright, let's get off this pad so they don't put us away.
You know, and if Just James is still on there, I know you were asking about that Cuddy earlier. If you wanted to mess around and fly one and you don't want to wait for Fleet Week or something while we're on, you can let me know and I'll be happy to put out.
Alright,
I'll
well,
let you go mess around in it.
that's a good offer. James, hopefully you heard that from Chad. Let's see. So JD Ms. All right. By the way, thanks for the trade advice. As soon as my prison sentence finished, I'm gonna get me cat out. All right. Feel free, dude. Like I said, Chad and I. What we like doing in a lot of these games is really figuring out what we can do. What really opens stuff up. So with Area 18 still sitting there. As far as what's available in ArcCorp, I'm going to front up to Delamar, and I'm going to go ahead and grab my other Caterpillar. So, Chad, have you successfully completed any of the diamond trade routes this morning?
That was the first one I attempted. I was messing around with some distilled spirits, processed food, and some scrap fat.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if part of the persistence issue in that case is I was in the second cat running the diamond, and so when it did the reset, even though I still have that cat listed, maybe it because it's the free cat. The sorry for losing all your millions. We'll give you an extra cat for now.
All right. We've already paid for it.
If I call it an exploit, they'll nail me, right?
Well,
so it's their gift to help me out. So I'm wondering if that on the account is having an effect. So I'm going to pull my main cat out and over at Hurl sell off the last of these distilled spirits, and then we'll play with that because I logged out on it several times yesterday and never lost cargo.
That's interesting. Well, it could also just be that the persistence issue itself with the fact that it made you go through almost like a character reset and customization could have caused that problem. Because it did it to me earlier where I was like, okay, why am I having to select Lorville? Or why am I having to select a new location?
As soon as I saw that, I went, oh, there went all my cargo.
All right. So, X, I'm going to grab mine, and then we're going to fly back over, and we're going to do the diamond route, and I'll show you what works with that one. Again, this is no frills. It's no frills trading whatsoever, but it's just stuff that works.
And it is steady income.
All right. So I don't know if you saw chat. James said he may have to take you up on the Cuddy offer a bit later. He works until about 5 p.m. Eastern, so which is cool. No big deal. I know, like I said, Chad and I, when we're off stream, we still get on later on in the evenings and afternoons and just play, just to explore some few things, test out a few things, and have some fun. So obviously you've been able to get it, over into our Discord, so that's not a big issue. Just feel free to check in with us whatsoever. James, what is your username in game?
And if you don't want to put it out here, you can type it in Discord.
Actually, I tell you what, I'll do it a little bit differently. Let me just give you mine, and then you can send me a friend request if you want, and then that way I can get that accepted and done. So here we go. There you go. So feel free to send AFT Biohazard a friend request in-game, and we'll link up with you. We'll give you a chance to fly, some of the ships that we have. If you want to fly along with us on some of the bigger trade stuff that we do, we're always looking for people to come in and help us out, and give them a little bit of kickback, a profit, get some starting funds, and everything good to go. One of the things that I think Chad and I would both absolutely love to do, and I'll just be open and honest about it, is each of us, because of something that has gone on with the trade terminals or with the ship terminals, each of us has 2 caterpillars. And I would love to have additional pilots helping us out, where we could theoretically go do a simple scrap run with 4 caterpillars and make over 100K in a single shot. And then that would be kind of one of those where everybody that maybe hasn't really ever had too much of a chance to play around with a caterpillar or do something like that, ultimately what would end up happening is we'd have Chad and I would have pilots flying the caterpillars for us while we're flying our freelancers. So basically, we're coming in real quick. The caterpillars come in and hover over station. We load the cats, and then we load the freelancers, and then we take off as a group and head over to a location and sell everything. So it would be like this super huge, just super huge trade fleet running through the galaxy doing stuff, or running through the verse doing stuff.
Well, and we found on the planets hovering works, and I think it's been a while, that do the same at like Porto. As long as you request a landing and get a pad and get close enough. I'd like to see if we could do the same with Levski. Request a landing, get close enough, and if that's the case, then, except for the occasional land for fuel, it's just go, go, go.
Yep. So the thing is, and a lot of people, especially new folks, that I've done this on camera and I've also done it off camera. I know how frustrating it can be to try and learn the game. So one of the things that I like doing is, especially with new folks, is bringing them in, giving them a chance to get behind the controls, ask the questions that they want to ask, even if we're not on stream, and start to learn how to really play the game and how to make money in the game. Because a lot of people, they struggle with how to make money in the game. Okay? And you usually end up losing more than you make, and that really gets a lot of people turned off very early on. Now, granted, there's no way to get around a large 30K that's going to dump a crap ton of your money like it happened earlier on us, right? But at the end of the day, what I usually like to do is I like to set it up to where the people that we have that basically come in and work for us when we do something like that, they earn approximately 20% of the overall profit.
I'll be off mic assist.
Okay. So it gives them an opportunity for seed money, right? But if you think about it, every 15 minutes having the ability, if we're making 100K profit, every 15 minutes having somebody have the ability to bring in 20K, you're still making 80 an hour, which is more than enough for most people first starting out in the game to have seed money to do whatever they want and really figure out how they want to play. Alright, so I came to Levski specifically to grab my secondary Caterpillar so I didn't have to file another claim. But ironically, this is also where you come to go ahead and buy your Cutlass. So on Friday, that is what will happen. let's see. Didn't bring any commodities with me this time. Alright, so, there we go. Just James. There we go. Gotcha. I wonder why it's still telling me I need to keep accepting this. Got it. Levski, let's pull out second cat. So I've accepted it, but I don't know what's going on there with why it's acting that way. Oh, there you go. Alright, finally took it. Alright, so it told me that it couldn't pull it out, but I look over to my right and there's my caterpillar. Another terminal glitch, that's fine. So let's dismiss that and see if it'll dismiss off. Nope. Is it just going to flash me forever? James, you need to stop flashing me. I know it's not your fault, brother. Not on that pad, so let's go to 4.
Alright, I'm back. So where you at?
I am at Levski. I was actually going to show, again, X and James and the group that we've got on, the profitability from a standard, quick, no-frills diamond run to and from Tram and Levski.
Yeah, I mean, it's an easy, what, 77K or something like that?
60, 70, something like that. Some of you, depending on what the inflation prices are. Yep, X, I know you can, but it's so much more fun to play whack-a-mole and go see if you can explore every single pad. Now, the funny thing is when Chad and I are running in a group, and we actually have a party running, we have both cats out, and we start, because you have access to the other person's caterpillar. The funny thing is there's often times where we've run out to the pads and we'll start running up on somebody else's caterpillar before we realize it.
Well, and keep in mind that some of these screens, like the Hurl screens, are bad about it because they put the name of the station, Hurl 4, you know, Bountiful Harvest, BS, whatever. You can't see what pad or what hangar your ship's in. Levski should have told you, though.
Nope, Levski did not. It said,
Oh, it did?
it said, screw you guys, I don't want you to know anything.
Oh, crap, I need to... Suicide, hold on. Oh, I fell down the stairs. That was great. My favorite is still the sprint, commit suicide, and watch yourself face slide across the platform.
Yep. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and plot directly into Sealand, and then we're going to pop directly to Trem and Myers here. So that's really our route. Again, absolutely no frills involved trade route here, but it will definitely make you a steady amount of money and give you some flight time to go. Now, the funny thing is that X, if you're in a party with somebody, I'm thinking, are you talking about trying to open the door as far as on the ship, or are you talking about open the door in the hangar? Because if you're talking about the ship, then if you're in the party, you can open the other person's ship door. It'll let you. But the challenge is when you go to try and request a liftoff from the landing spot, Chad and I have run into a whole bunch of issues to where if you weren't the one that requested the landing pad, they won't let you out. Second 30K this morning. I love it.
Okay, well, since you 30K'd, I'm going to back out because I just loaded up at Hurl. and then maybe we can get on the same server.
All right, no problem. No problem. Cause
And then that way I don't take off from Hurl in 30K with a. I mean, it's only 77K worth of scrap, but.
yep. All right. So the reality here is, guys, that again, this right now, this is more 30Ks than I've seen in quite some time, just from a single stream. But at least we didn't lose anything. All we had done was just take our ship up and lift off. So we're kind of good there. We hadn't loaded with any cargo. Chad, it shows you in menus. Are you good?
I am in menus. I am good.
All right.
Might be pretty.
All right.
You can launch whenever. I'm good.
You want to run the Aussie servers?
Yeah, let's run them. They ought to be in the middle of the night right now.
All right. So let's see, Chris. Try to go out of full screen and then create the character and then go back to full screen. All right. So Chris, okay, sorry, I missed your statement there, Chris. I apologize. You're having problems getting past the character setup screen. Could you let me know how to? Okay. Thomas Nelson is 100% correct. You can try and go into a window mode. Okay. Here's the steps that they recommend doing. Try and go into the windowed mode. And once you're there, if you're still having issues, wait 5 minutes to see if the server comes back to allow you to be able to click anything. If that does not work, then you are at a point where, and I'm going to tell you, I hate to say this, you have to delete your user file. If you do not, deleting your user file is the only thing that helped me out, because I went through the entire troubleshooting process and everything failed. And finally, once I deleted that, I was able to get back in.
Where are you going after, Leslie, bud?
I was hoping on Tram and Myers.
Okay, that works. I'm going to grab my ship out of here and Hurl and haul the scrap to Port O and then meet you over at Tram.
No problem. It may take a minute because depending on where the 30K actually registered, I may have to file a claim on my Caterpillar.
Yeah, like I said, that's why I went ahead and logged, because mine was still in the station.
Alright.
These damn creepy NPCs blocking the stairs.
Yeah, so Thomas, I agree. You shouldn't delete the user folder between every patch, but that is, you can do that or you can do a character reset. And when I had done the character reset and it still didn't work for me, I was still stuck there. And it was one of those issues where I finally got down to the point where it was like, I have no other choice because I tried all the other troubleshooting techniques. But in order of what you're supposed to do is go to window mode, try and get it to work there, wait 5 to 10 minutes while it's in window mode, and if it still doesn't work, then you can go through and they tell you to do a character reset because that's their default go-to. Again, I don't recommend it. But then on top of that, the very final step that did work for me was going in, deleting the user folder, and then letting it basically recreate itself. Which I lost all my key bindings and all my other stuff, but that is what it is, right?
Well, let me interject on that. If you actually go through the troubleshooting steps, because I've had a lot more issues than you have while trying to get this going, deleting the user folder comes way before character. The character reset is supposed to be the absolute last.
Let's see. So now we have to file a claim against that one, but our other one is stored and it will be good. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull out the other one. That is the advantage of having multiple caterpillars.
Yeah, it's going to be sad when that goes away for us.
All right.
Respectful day of mourning.
Oh, you're saying that you should since it's recommended. Okay, I misunderstood your statement there, Thomas. I could see the benefit of that because it does get rid of the cache memory and the garbage that's sitting out there, but it's really inconvenient. So I don't know if any of you guys fly with like dual flight sticks or anything like that. But once you custom map the dual flight sticks, all that's in your user profile stuff. And once you get rid of it, it's a pain in the butt to go back through and start setting and reconfiguring all that stuff up. So again, I try and avoid it if I possibly can, because I think it's a problem. It's an annoyance, not a problem. It's an annoyance for me. We did have somebody ask something else. So Anderson Brigham, welcome to the stream. I will tell you that any trade routes that I have found. You're asking a question about any trade routes that I've found. If you're an in-game player, this is going to be a really quick, kind of dirty rundown of this. Sealan, Tram & Myers, Diamond, running that out to Levski. That's a good, steady one. Then there is my favorite, personally, once per hour, Astatine out of Hurston off of Ida. Either Woodruff or Ryder, and then running that back to Port Olisar. And then for just everyday nitty-gritty, just make some money, it's a steady earner without a whole lot of risk, is you're going to run Daymar Bountiful Harvest. You're going to run processed food out to Hurl or HUR-L4, and then pick up scrap from there and run it back to Port Olisar and rinse and repeat. Those are usually your safest routes to make significant cash. And even then, it's just going to be a steady grind.
And quick back to Thomas and what he's saying. What he's actually saying, and I understand your deal, but if you read the upgrade notes, when they drop the new patch, they flat out tell you, make sure to delete your user. And I know it's a pain for you joystick users, and it'll eventually be a pain for me as I get my flight sticks and everything. But yeah, they definitely recommend it.
Yep. All right. So Anderson, the higher, riskier trade routes. Okay, they're there. But again, you're facing the how long does it take to load your ship versus how long does it take to run into your first 30K. I can only say it that way. Laranite is always going to be Laranite. You can do that from Ariel off of Besdick or Lathan, and you can run that into Lorville. That is always going to be a very fast, quick turnaround as far as if you have a smaller ship. You're not going to get super huge, large quantities of Laranite, but it is the riskiest one. The next one, and I forget the location because I never run it. I want to say it's out in Arccore, but I'd have to check the trade on it. But Agresium. Physically running Agresium. The refresh rates are horrible, but the profit margins are fantastic.
So smaller cargo ships, great stuff for Agresium if you can get on it and stuff, but I don't want to spend 6 hours waiting to fill up a cat while I have close to $1 million or more worth of inventory sitting on it during that time.
Yep. So I don't know if you were here earlier, Anderson, but I was doing one of the let's see how much we can load up on a Caterpillar with Laranite runs. And I finally got to the point where I was like, you know what, forget this, it's taking too long. And I loaded the rest down with titanium. And the moment I went to lift off, 30K. 750,000 AUEC gone, just like that. And Chris, the dual flight sticks, to me, it's the only way to go. When you are using a fighter, there is so much more insane amount of control that you actually get. But if you want to go through like a standard single flight stick is great, right? You don't have to do much mapping there unless you're going to do some custom stuff with like how you're going to cycle through your targets, or if you're going to put shafts and flares and other stuff on there. But the secondary flight stick, having to reconfigure that one so that you have your throttles built to it and anything else that you want to do, that's a little bit more of a challenge. So yes, you do tend to lose those when you get home. When you do that reset. So good luck to you on that one, because I personally think it sucks when you have to do that setup. Alright, let's try this again, this time without the 30K.
Oh, and yes, Anderson, that became our favorite route as long as it was available. We would jump to Tram and get the titanium, jump right to Porto and sell it. And the very worst margins would be 77K, but typically it was 95 to 101. So it was a 10-minute route where we would just stack credits all day long.
Yep. So last night's discussion, because I was over at Chad's house and we were over there having some burgers and some drinks. But last night's discussion centered very heavily around the fact that we were both very agitated that that particular trade route was no longer paying off. Because we used that one like it was nobody's business in order to be able to get Chad his Caterpillar.
Well, excuse me, didn't get the mic moved in time. But and I think the most frustrating thing about it was with all the disconnects, we'd still sit there and get our DCs, but you could make up the 300K the 400K you just lost in about an hour by doing the runs. And I think the most frustrating thing right now is, yes, there's some high payout stuff, but there is absolutely no way for you to fill up a cat on. So
Right.
you're stuck with no mid-grade trades.
All right. So Anderson, the Astatine Run in a Caterpillar, I have been averaging between 90 and 100K profit off of the Astatine, running it back into Port Olisar. But again, you're in a scenario where that is only going to work once every hour, hour and a half, because of the refresh rates on the system. Chris, I think that there are some that are out there, but because of the way I play and the equipment that I have, I specifically stick to a certain set of key bindings. What I haven't played with is I kept my old user file. So I'm going to explore it and see where I can pull those key binding information from and see if I can copy and replace those particular files and see if it works for me. If it does, I'll let you guys know, because that's kind of on my short list of stuff to try and knock out this week. Since the character reset and the user file reset really has just been hit home this week with the 391 patch update problems that I started running into. Because all the way back to 3.8, when 3.8 first dropped, I have never, full disclosure, I have never had to do a character reset or a user file reset up until this patch dropped. Excuse me. Doing a lot of talking this morning. I think I might need more caffeine.
It's always a good solution.
Yep. Although I haven't been downstairs to check on my wife and see how she's feeling after last night.
Yeah, mine has not made her presence known yet either.
You're welcome, Chris. We'll just say that much alcohol was consumed last night. Good times were had
The
by
lady
all.
definitely had a good time. And it's not a party till the cops show up.
Yep. You know, fireworks sometime around 1 o'clock in the morning. Hey, stuff happens.
Yeah, I walked out this morning, the ladies left the evidence in the driveway, and I'm like, geez, man, not everybody knows.
Morning, Percy. Long time no see. How have you been? Alright, where is my location? And
4 to 5 Central, Chris, is typical time. If today's the day they go on, I haven't checked the schedule, but they usually do it at 9 or 10 UTC.
Alright. So, Percy, with all due respect, you need to drag your ass back into game, sir. Stop running around with Destiny.
Hooked on a game named after the strip.
Actually, no. Percy's making a trip right now, so he's on his way back. So, I get it. I'm just giving him grief.
Damn, Percy. Where are you getting lunch at in Lafayette?
Get some boudin for me.
Because if you were on your way back from Florida, you should have stopped at Bro Bridge there and hit, what the hell is that? Crawfish Town, USA. Jeez. They got some fried platters there with fish and shrimp and crab and you name it. It's make a fat man happy.
I think there's a problem there, Chad, with that statement. Because
What's
you
that?
still have another 7 hours of driving to do after you become really fat and happy.
Oh, it's still worth it. I used to have to make the run down to Tampa from Houston, which is, depending on your speed and how many cops are out there, 14 to 16 hours. And always Crawfish Town, USA. Then you stop in Don's outside of Lafayette to buy all your boudin.
Yeah. So, Percy, you're probably going to get Whataburger, which feels weird to Whataburger not in Texas. Amen to that, and I can't believe that they sold it to a Chicago-based company.
Yeah, but I grew up in Florida, and we had.
Oh, you do
I know
live...
it's a primary Texas thing, but
Chris lives in Houston. We got another fellow Houstonite here. So, full disclosure, Percy is part of the gaming group that I'm in that we call Tabletop Nerdcast. He's one of the GMs that runs one of our games. And then you've got, obviously, myself. I live in the suburbs out here in Houston area. And Chad, who is one of my good friends, he lives out here pretty close to where I'm at. So, yeah, we're a Houston-based channel. Sulphur, Louisiana. All right. So she came from one of those towns that's just a little on the... Yeah, I won't go there. It's named Sulphur for a reason, right? Percy, that is called drunken video game night. And yes, we need to have a drunken video game night. I am totally down for that. We can have anybody and everybody that's on stream hop back into, into the Discord, and everybody get on and just have a drunken video game night and just let it be absolutely hilarious. I'll record it for posterity's sake. Although I'm sure YouTube would probably ban it by the time it's done. Not that I have anything against YouTube or nothing. Okay, so Chris, you're up in the Spring area. Okay, so you're up on the northwest side. Or, yeah. No, north. It's technically Spring is north side. We're all down on the southwest side. Although I do have to ask you a question. What made you go marry a Cajun woman? We'll just say a spicy Cajun woman. Pretty sure she probably keeps life interesting, right? That should be the answer because it's being recorded. She keeps life interesting. Ooh, wrong button. There we go.
How, Mike, you as a married man put the guy on the spotlight?
Okay, what the fudge just went wrong there? That should not have happened.
Did you crash?
No, but it tried to roll sideways on me after I put the front landing gear on the ground. It was being cantankerous.
Well, look at it this way. At least you didn't fall out of space upside down onto a planet.
Hey, 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 hey now. That takes skill. And I'm glad you have that skill.
I have no idea how my ship did not explode.
I've been there, done that one. All right, so we are here at Tram and Myers. This is legitimately, as a group, like when Chad and I are playing on a regular basis. There wasn't a rock that I saw that would have done that, Percy. But as a group, typically this is our bread and butter run. This is where we make a vast majority of our funds. Is hitting up Tram and Myers, grabbing the diamonds, and running it back out to Levski. You've got a couple of choices that happen once you're done with that particular run. But I'll show you from a real quick run perspective that what kind of money and what kind of funds you're actually going to make here. All right. So for argument's sake, so if you look, your diamond's 585, which means it's back to normal. Titanium 7.1. What kind of? Oh, only 32. That's terrible. So this is where titanium's price really should be. So Anderson, yes, it is technically better by running it all the way over there, but because there's a secondary trade route that we kick off after the fact, we tend to make a whole lot more without having to sit there and do the long approach into Loreville, get to Central Business District, come back, pull a ship back out again. It's kind of one of those scenarios. So we found from a time perspective, we could make up the profit margin by using our time in other ways. Okay? So if I'm getting at 327, right, is what I'm going to fully load down here on. So
and don't forget, for a while there, it was impossible to get in and out of Loreville safe.
Yeah, that's true. When 3.9 dropped, all the winds would basically, essentially kill you damn near 80% of the time flying into Loreville.
Well, the wind never killed you. The autopilot killed you.
Well, yeah, but the wind forced the autopilot to engage, so I'm going to blame it on the wind because they overtuned it. All right, so Anderson, basically, and I know this is going to sound like it's stupid, but when I'm running the Caterpillar and I'm running this particular trade, okay, when you go to run Diamond into Loreville, okay, you're taking an additional 10 or 15 minutes that it takes to do the Loreville approach, the run to Central Business District, the come back, the get up into your ship, get back to atmosphere, and then run somewhere else, right? That's really the challenge that you run into, is that lost 10 to 15 minutes that you're having in that scenario. So what I do is I go to Levski and I drop the Diamond off. Okay? Now you have a choice to make where you can take an empty run back directly into back directly to Tram and Myers and rinse and repeat all you want. Again, absolutely boring, doesn't do anything for me. You know, it's a pain in the butt. Or you can pick up really, really cheap hydrogen. There it goes. Free look should be clean. All right. You can pick up really cheap hydrogen. Now we're rolling again. Free look is causing me problems. Yeah, we got some weirdness going on in the flight controls right now. I don't think you missed anything, James, but let me go ahead and finish answering Anderson's question there. So one of the things that you'll also find is that in taking that hydrogen and taking it in a full load over to HURL4, you can drop that off there, sell it, and you're going to make about 12K profit. Pick up scrap and run that back into Port Olisar, and you're going to make another 28K profit. So you're going to sit there around in that same time frame making 110 to 120K profit in total, as opposed to just running the diamond only and spending a lot of time on the ground running back and forth. All right. So earlier, when we were chatting back and forth, and I want to say it was X when he was asking some questions here. This route, where this OM1, which is the system-based one, is the safe route to take. If you get that little micro jump that's only like a 0.1 or whatever it is, avoid it, because that's the one that'll blow you up.
And I think we need to check that with the updates and everything, because I jumped to it the other day.
Not why I have not why I have cargo on board.
Oh no! Don't do it with the cargo, goofball. I did it. I swear I did it. But
Where is my...
repetition is the only thing that proves anything around here.
Yep.
I've only done it once.
Yep, and I did it the other day on stream where I called it and said, this is probably going to blow me up, and it did. So...
Oh. Well.
Yeah, so now here's the other thing. One of the things that happened in 3.9 that wasn't there earlier, and I say 3.9, but 3.9.1, so X, so that you're aware of the way that this works, is in the refueling arena, when you're talking about a Caterpillar and you're talking about something that's this size and it burns a lot of fuel, that particular run where you're doing the diamond and then running the hydrogen and then running the scrap, each of those stops gives you a chance to kick off your refuel, and it's basically topping off your fuel on your craft regardless before you ever even leave this particular craft. Okay? So, like, trying to get where I'm walking off of the Caterpillar, I'll constantly have a topped off fuel so that I'm not worried about sitting in a position where even if I hit a port for whatever reason, the refuel errors out, I've still got enough to make my next leg, as opposed to, because she's not very fuel efficient, the Caterpillar can run you pretty heavy on gas. There have been times where we've had to stop mid-flight to go somewhere else just to get gas, and that can be annoying. But you don't have to be sitting in your pilot seat in order to allow your refuel to work. You just kick it off, then you get up and then start running out of your ship, and by the time you get to where you leave the comm channel, I guarantee you your ship is topped off.
Well, and like Porto's 50-50 right now on whether you can fuel, so you can either play the takeoff, request landing game or anything else, or if you top off at every stop as you get out and run like he's saying, then it's a non-issue, because you've got a pretty good chance at 2 of those 3 stops being able to get. And then the only one you can't get fuel at all, of course, Tramp and Myers.
That's correct. But that's even such a micro jump anyway that it really just doesn't make any difference. So X, did you actually run that trade route in game? I'll wait a few seconds for him to... No, okay. So you just like the concept of what you're hearing, to where it's got the multiple, locations and things where you can get to. Okay, I got that. I understand that one. Now, Chad and I have also had a bunch of discussions as we were going through this and trying to figure out some of these better routes. Police halting your Caterpillar. Those fines are heavy. Yes, they are. Don't ever make the mistake of, halt, let me scan you. Oh, crap, I was hitting my B button. Launch off into Quantum. Yeah, that hurts.
I actually had that happen one time. I was launching as they halted me, and fortunately it did not give me a crime stat read.
right? So there's a couple of different things that you can do. Like, you could, instead of going to the Hurl L4, right, you could go to Hurl L3. Now, if you were going from Sealand to Hurl L3, the sun and the asteroids make that approach unbearable in a Caterpillar. It is almost impossible to navigate that crap and takes forever to fly through it. So we've looked at a couple of different options that were there and just kind of ran into a few things where we were like, maybe we could shorten this trip, maybe we could do this. And it just seemed like we always kept kind of coming right back to that L4 landing pad or landing stop.
Well, the one thing we haven't tried that we talked about, and I forgot all about, I'd have done it on this run, is going from Delamar, Levski, to the Hurl 3, because now you're actually going to skirt the sun and you won't be looking directly at it as you land. So I think I'm going to give that, I mean, you can continue doing what you're doing. I'm going to give that a try on the next one, the margins look like.
Oh, that's fair.
And because that does shorten the route instead of, like we talked about. I forgot all about it. Glad you reminded me.
All right, no worries.
Oh,
so Anderson,
lovely.
You're welcome. Like I said, man, it's just we're trying to just give you guys the same knowledge that we've been able to acquire, because we have been, since 391 dropped, we have been trying to figure out why they screwed over that mid-tier commodity so badly and how to make money around it. That the biggest oof they've made in the game so far for traders is screwing up the titanium coming out of Tram and Myers. Just that's all I'm gonna say.
Well, and I think they did lower refresh rates on the higher end stuff, because if you look at Galog and some of the other sites, the refresh rates aren't matching up to what they should.
And with Fleet Week currently going on and Free Flight Week, the people that normally we turn to as resources to go in and start doing those kind of calculations and that setup, they're probably enjoying Free Flight Week and doing other stuff as well. So I'm not expecting to get any updates until probably sometime middle of next week itself. And that's probably where we're truly going to see, basically what's happening with all the commodities. Well, I guess I should take my cruise control off. I'm not going to aim my nose down until I get this bad boy stopped. Let's overheat our engines. Don't need that. Alright. It's kind of interesting when you're paying attention more to chat than you are flying, because that usually ends up really bad for you. Especially when you got cargo on board. Alright. There it is. So my favorite thing about Levski, guys, and I want you to see this. I'm going to go into third person as I come in here. Wait a minute. Why are you doing that? Okay, so that one's our hangar. Somebody else has got the other one.
I got the other one.
Alright. So if you look, it looks like our hangar is still halfway covered here. And people, especially when I've got new pilots in, they freak out about it because it looks like you're going to crash. You're not going to crash. It's a shading glitch that exists in the game. Anderson, that has to do with what is basically that has to do with more with as far as the number is, the commodity number and cargo capacity on the Caterpillar. Some of the things that they originally advertised versus some of the things that they have changed in game. They haven't gone back and changed some of that merchandising. So the terminals are always in that scenario where they will say like 576, but you can only put 564 on board. I've seen some people's that say 570. I can't explain why. It just maybe a small piece of code that they didn't tweak and update properly, and it hasn't been very high on their list. So I did clip a wall coming in here. I'm not expecting refueling to work. Hey, it worked anyway. All right. Normally when you clip a wall, it won't work for you. So I'm going to kick off my refuel, and at this point, it's just a race. I can get off the ship. This thing's going to be fully topped off, and I don't have to worry about it. And that's kind of whereas before, in 3.8.2 and early 3.9, you pretty much had to keep your butt in the seat in order to be able to let it refuel for you. Or it would be very touchy and buggy and not let you do anything. Anderson, there is a lot of debate. Okay? Goodness, best quantum engine for the Caterpillar. You've got the fast one that burns up a whole lot more fuel. And I'll take you. I ran that one for a little while, and I'll tell you what, Chad would probably back me up on this one. I hated it. It made the fueling glitches where occasionally where a fuel station would error out a lot more crappy. I'll pull it up for you here. Since the cargo's safe, let me get over here into customs and I'll pull up what what your options are. And this is where Chad and I differ a little bit. He likes a different site than I do when it comes to working that kind of stuff up. So let me give me another window here.
Are you going to Urkel?
I am going to Urkel.
I use a combination of both of them, actually.
So he uses Hardpoint IO, and typically I go to Urkel, the DPS calculator, if I'm looking for something quick. Okay? And it looks like Urkel just updated for 3.9.1. So let's go ahead and pick our... Where's our Drake? Drake Caterpillar, right? So over here, for a quantum drive perspective, you start with the Pontes, right? But the TS2 uses a crap ton of fuel. But its flight time is significantly lower, okay? I did a test with this engine, and it's not really from Olisar to Hurston. It's not really 3.13 minutes or 3 minutes 13 seconds. It actually came out to 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Okay, so it is a little bit lower. But the engine that I really preferred was truly the Baldwin. It's a grade 2, and it's got very similar type of flight time, but its fuel capacities were much, much better. So it's a personal choice. If you don't mind the additional fuel cost for a couple extra seconds of time, then so be it. But I personally think the Baldwin was a better choice. Okay, love Levski's unoptimized.
Mike?
Yes?
We have a problem.
What's our problem?
Levski is now limiting diamond sales.
Alright, that means that a lot of people are running in and out the commodity.
Yeah.
They're listening to what we're saying.
All you punks messed up my sale. I've got 370k. I can only sell 25k of it.
Which means I probably can't sell anything.
You're damn right, because I'm going to sell what little it lets me and go pull out a different cat. Man, that stinks.
Alright. Now, with that being the case, man, I'm getting some crazy, crazy server lag right now.
I was too. That I haven't been getting in Levski. Server bounce?
Yeah, we're probably going to have to. So it might be
Right.
It might be safer. Alright, so what we're about to show you guys, for those that may be new to the game, here's a little technique that it's cheating, but it's not cheating. So bear with me. Alright. Exit back to menu. So when you run into issues like this, what you can do is you can log back to Dude, I don't know what the heck is going on. I think
What?
there's an issue up with the servers. You got the stream live?
Yeah, I do now.
Okay.
I
I'm
don't
getting
really
the
wouldn't.
fade out crazy screens. So, all right. Chris, I'll answer that question in just a minute for you. But for those that are new, that when you run into issues like this, what you can do is you can back out to the menus and choose another location. Like, I'm going to take us into the EU.
Go ahead and take us in. I am going to go make some coffee.
All right. Now, when you bounce between server zones like this gives you an opportunity while you're at the location you're at to immediately go back to the trade terminal and try and sell more product. It works, but it's not the greatest technique in the world. It takes time to load in and out of the game. It's a little technique you use if you're ever doing drug running. Okay, it'll help you offload your product a little bit faster. So, Chris, let's jump over to your question. For those that may not have seen it over on the Twitch side, our trade run's easier in the morning. I get killed a lot in the afternoons. Players wait for me to come out of Quantum with the Caterpillar. You get the EMP. Players. Okay. So just like any MMO, I am going to say that my personal gut feeling here is the afternoons are terrible. And it's usually because a lot of the kids get done with any type of school that they may have or schoolwork that they have, and they're jumping onto the games, and most of the times they're more interested in causing mayhem than they are in advancing in the game itself. So I know that may sound like it's kind of a very poor statement to make against a younger crowd, but I have seen that in the afternoons when more people start influxing to the servers, that's where I start seeing that behavior come up. Okay? And under normal circumstances, that's usually right around the time that normal school would be ending for a lot of people. Okay? I understand U.S. side, COVID, kids are remote, they can get on at different points of time of the day, so it's a little bit more of a moot argument. But almost every MMO I've ever played, that has been one of the biggest issues, is when they're able to jump on. Now, they also put back into play the interdiction stuff. Okay? So, Chris, it's not just players that are doing it, it's NPCs that are now doing it. Okay? So, what I found in the Caterpillar is once you get interdicted, your first action should not be looking for combat. Your first action should be scroll mousing up to get this thing to max speed and flying directly through them. Okay? Most everything that would be interdicting you is a smaller fighter. And what I found is that you can throttle up and fly directly at them at full speed, and it's not going to do much to your ship whatsoever. It won't even get through your shields. You can plow right through them without even missing a beat. Okay? Now, in most cases, they're going to peel off and try and go around you, but since your speed is so built up at that point, you're going to get outside of their quantum jamming and potential EMP ranges significantly faster, and it'll give you an opportunity to make a jump back to quantum and get out of the zone. Especially if you don't have a gunner with you. The other trick that I typically try and do is find a server set where it's late at night for them, because you'll have a lot less players that are on that particular server set. So like when I first get on in the morning, usually my first bet is to go to the Australian servers, and then as I get more towards the afternoon, I'll shift to the EU servers, and late at night I'll shift over to, if I'm still up and playing, I'll shift over to the US servers. Alright, so like right here, still selling, but it's not going to clear out everything that we wanted to sell. So unfortunately, a lot of people are heeding the advice of what, you know, a couple of us are putting out there, and they're running a crap ton of diamond in and out of Levski. So really makes it kind of strange. Alright, so Alexander, do you know what's the current weapon meta? I don't. I apologize again. I do more trading right now early in the stream's life than I do from a combat perspective. So that's kind of where I'm sitting is I don't pay attention to a whole ton of the weaponry meta. What I do know, though, from the folks that I follow and talk to, is that energy weapons seem to be a little bit stronger right now from an alpha damage perspective, and that is that's helpful because anything that's like a ballistic repeater or something along those lines, what's happening? Yeah, Levski has a 2 million diamond demand. Yes, it does, X. So what's happening is that the ballistics aren't chewing through the shields fast enough, and the shields are starting to regenerate. So you end up going through a lot of your ammunition very early in your ballistics, or using the ballistic weapons, and then you're kind of stuck not being able to break through other people's shields if they're a quality pilot. All right, so Chad, it's full, sir. And
Like, we can't sell nothing full.
right, like Levski has hit its 2 million mark for people that are doing trades today in Diamond.
It's like when it becomes Drake Day, if it does, and they start renting Caterpillars for free, I'm not even gonna trade.
Probably not. We will spend our entire time trying to steal an F8 fighter.
Rock on.
So guys, I'm sorry. Tomorrow's stream will be nothing but essentially trying to steal an F8 fighter. Tomorrow or Friday, and then obviously the giveaway. All right. So, unfortunately, what I wanted to demonstrate here, it really sucks. I can't demonstrate because of what just happened. The only other place that we have that we could try and take this commodity to at this point would be running into Lorville, which would just be a huge amount of time that we would be trying to run. Okay? I have never seen, and I'm going to be honest with you, I have never seen Levski run out of trade capacity purchasing. This is a first.
Well, it's typically like the other major cities. On most items, they'll just eat them.
So, like, let's go back over here, and I'm gonna grab my Gallic, right? If I were to go in and take a look at the commodities here and go to Diamond, right? Where is it at? Diamond is down here under Minerals, right? Just so that you can see what we're talking about. Levski itself, where it is, 2,304,000 in capacity. That is how much diamond this place should be able to take, and unfortunately, it's not taking it all. So JDM, you're over here and you're saying you're at Levski selling the same load. It's refreshing pretty fast, right?
It's all his fault.
So is it taking the full load of the Caterpillar, or is it only taking small chunks of the Caterpillar and just refreshing quickly for you? And James, I agree. It is a free flight week issue. And that's because we have so many people in game. I mean, the first day of free flight, even though it was an absolute catastrophe, I think they had 1 million plus players in. It was stupid silly how many people were in trying to run against these servers at the time. JD, it doesn't make any difference. It's only still going to take small chunks at this point. Behind the scenes, there is this like engine there. It's calculating what's happening with all the trade commodities. So that's really kind of where we've run into some of our problems at this point. Even if you were to sit on it, other people running in and out are going to continue to do it. So if you have a large load and you just want to offload the load, the only advice I can give you at this point now is run to Lorville and go ahead and make the sell. which, Chad, officially, we have a busted speed run right now.
Yep.
So,
I'm running a claim on my other cat, so I can pull it out and continue on.
yep. Now, I am about 7 minutes over my standard stream time, guys, because I wanted to be able to try and show you this particular route. Unfortunately, what that means is with a busted speed run, it sucks, and I apologize. I cannot get this offloaded in time to be able to do that and give you the legitimate numbers. I will tell you, though, like I said, in my experience, it's between 68 and 70K if Lorville takes all the diamond. It is 12K profit to take the hydrogen from here and run it to the Hurl R&R. And then it's another 28 to 30K to be able to take scrap from there back into Port Olisar. Okay? So those are the profitabilities for just the absolute basic runs. And if you really wanted to, like I said, like right now, what I would do is kill the... right now what I would do is I would kill the diamond because of what we just saw here at Levski, and I would do the processed food runs into the Hurls, and then pick the scrap back up and run to Port Olisar. You're not going to make a ton of money. You're going to make about 48 to 50K tops round trip. But again, because we've overflushed the market with so much material, we're just stuck.
Well, and while you're picking up that processed food, if you do it in small amounts, you can pick up a little bit of the distilled spirits to help bolster some. What we say on a cat, no more than 120?
No more than 120 max.
Because I did that this morning, and I picked up 180, and I was able to sell 25 and had to leave my cabinet.
Yep.
So.
All right. So, guys, with that, now, Anderson, I'm going to answer your question. It's probably the last question of the stream. But do I feel that 30Ks are a bit more rare now? My honest answer is yes. They are a bit more rare. Now, I have experienced 2 today in a few-hour period, which has not been what I've felt since 391 dropped. Okay? If I compare 391 to 39 patch sets, the 30Ks are significantly more rare at this point. I have a lot more confidence as a trader that I'm not going to run into the 30Ks as much. Okay? So, again, for all those that are sitting there on YouTube or that are sitting over on Twitch, I do stream on a daily basis. My normal time is around 9 a.m. until noon. However, Friday, I do want to let you know, we are doing an in-game Cutlass Black giveaway. Now, that in-game Cutlass Black giveaway is for people who already own the game. I am buying them in-game currency only, a Cutlass Black. If you already own a Cutlass Black and you would like another ship that is equivalent or lesser of the price, then what we'll do is we'll meet up in-game. I will give you the cash. We'll have you purchase the ship, and we'll come along on stream for your maiden flight. All right? And that'll be done via a chat mode raffle setup. So, guys, make sure that you're here on Friday, and I appreciate you. And as Percy will attest to, and as Chad will attest to, and a couple other folks that follow our RPG content, I'm going to end this the same way we always do. Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate you all for being here. And keep on adventuring.